January is coming to an end, so it's time for us to do our January 2021 wrap-up. So stay tuned for our talk about a variety of different games we've played over the course of this month. So how you doing, Honey Bunch?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Well, we're wrapping up this month okay. You know, it was a long month. We tried to do dry January. We didn't completely succeed.
I think a lot of people tried to do January, right?
31 days. I mean,
that's a lot of days.
A lot of days. But we did have some fun playing some games. We didn't play as many because, of course, we get a bunch in before, before and then during the Christmas holidays, and then hitting the ground again. Especially for me, it's a second semester starting, and craziness with all of the stuff we're doing. We try to get 2 press weeks in at school, so I got another one in about 2 weeks. So it's pretty crazy, but we do get some games in, and even though Shelley only gets 1 day off over President's Day weekend, I get an entire week off.
I'm happy
so
for you.
I may have Shelley come home and it's like, honey, look, oh my God, a game got set up. So we'll have a few to talk about in February, but we have 8 games to talk about here in January, one of which mysteriously is not here.
It disappeared.
No, it didn't disappear. No. It is at Shelley's school already because she knew that it would be a game. So we'll talk about that one in a minute. But why don't you start us off with the first one that you've got on your side of the table?
Okay.
What do you want to do? Yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to start with one that we have talked about before, but is a winner that we really like a lot. It's by Rosenberg, and it's called Second Chance. It's by Stronghold Games. Yeah. And this game just is so sweet and fast. We can play it in 5 minutes.
Right, 5-10 minutes. It's great. Polyominoes, writing on the little sheet. We've laminated it so we can use our, vis-a-vis pens, and it's good.
It's double-sided.
Double-sided, exactly.
Which is really cool.
And Shelley says it's a winner. It is a winner as a game, but primarily because Shelley's the winner at the game.
Maybe that's why I like it so much.
Oh my God, she just dominates me at this.
That's not true. That's not true. You win a lot, too.
I think we've played like 16 times, and you've won over 10 of them.
Well, that's still very close. So I would definitely recommend this game if you want something that you can just squeeze in when you just have a little bit, but you really want to play a game. Yeah. And it's really, really fun.
Fun little game. We played it twice last night while we were fixing dinner. All right, next one. This is for 2 to 6 players, Red Peak from Ravensburger. And we as a 2-player game, but it plays up to 6.
More is better. More
co-op game about running from an erupting volcano and getting off the island that is erupting. So unlike the Pompeii game where everybody was working on their own and trying to throw the opponent's players into the volcano and stuff, this one you're working together with all of the resources, but there's a speed element, and that's a big part of it. So Red Peak, more players, definitely solid as a co-op.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right, so the other game that we played was called Glasgow. It's by Mandela, Fernandez-Grandon, and it's from Lookout Games. And this is a game that is, think kind of a patchwork Thebes around the edge, and that's how you get your actions or how you collect your resources. And then you have a building component in the middle, which is typical to many games where the buildings line up and then they activate buildings and they have to be in certain locations and stuff like that. But this would be, I would say, a very entry-level, lower think level than probably any of those type of style of games that we've mentioned. So I would call this more of an intro to, very family-friendly intro type of game. 2
players only.
Yeah, 2 players. Yeah.
We don't need to play it again.
Right. No, that's true.
Okay, then we did go back and do some classics that we've talked about on the podcast and stuff. And one that unfortunately, well, let's just say that it isn't one that needs to remain on our shelves is Blue Moon City. This Reiner Knizia game is, it's a solid title for what it is, but especially as a 2-player, I don't think it's that great. It's a race game where you are adding cards to contribute to the buildings, and then whoever has the most gets a certain amount of resources as a reward. Everybody else gets a lesser amount of resources if you've contributed, and you're just trying to get those crystals by going to the center of the board and trade stuff in and make sure that you get that in. It's all right.
I think it is better, more players, and what is, you're contributing crystals to make an obelisk, and
Right.
it is very fast game, so you'll play it in probably 40 minutes.
Under
I
40
would think.
minutes, yeah, especially
so
with
that
two
part
players.
is nice,
Yeah.
but we would recommend it more players than two.
Yeah, and the modular board is something that I think is great. It's just not really great as a two-player game.
I would agree.
All right.
Well, the next game that I want to talk about, I don't actually have with me because it's at my school, and you mentioned this at the start.
There'll be some pictures coming up here shortly that we're going to show.
It's called Cloud City.
Yeah.
It's by Phil Walker Harding and Blue Orange Games. This is a very interesting little puzzle type of game where you have different heights of buildings that are kind of like a Manhattan game, those big plastic tall buildings.
Yeah.
And then you
3 different heights.
are making a walkway in the clouds that match the heights of the buildings. And
Right.
there's 3 heights of buildings, and you get better points if you have longer walkways.
Right.
And it looks really cool.
As you're going to see by the pictures that we're probably showing you right now.
And my students are loving it.
Yeah.
So it's become a huge success in my classroom. It's something we can play with even the COVID type restrictions because there's plastic dividers between the kids, and you could put pieces on both sides, and then they just reach over and hand kids the pieces that they need if they don't have them on their side.
Right.
And it's perfect. It's so much spatial math, addition, but you can play this as an adult too and still enjoy if you like building kind of a puzzle and really have something look cool at the end.
Definitely more of a family game.
Very friendly and super for the classroom.
Right. All right. Our next throwback game, if you will, is from a few years ago. This is Ave Roma from A Games. We had a really good time getting this out again. It is a very complex game, so it's one of those games where, you need to get it to the table, play it a couple of times, as we did, to remind yourself of all the intricacies of how the different cards work. It's a worker placement game where with 2 players, there's fewer spots at the various places, and so you're competing for spots, you're competing to gain resources to spend on various card types and so on that are either end game scoring points or may help you during the game. One of the cool aspects, I'll show it, is that it is a round board, which is very cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
And everything kind of fits together really nicely. I really do like this game. This is one of the first ones from A Games, and solid 2 to 5 players, and it says 25 minutes per player. And yeah, we could get a 2-player game in, when you know it, in under an hour.
Yeah, it's a big think, but
It
it's so much fun.
Yeah, definitely.
You will definitely love it. The other game that we played is called Renature. It's by Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling, and it's by CG
Capstone Games.
Capstone Games. Sorry.
Yep, and Deep Print.
And Deep Print. This is a beautiful game with amazing pieces. You are basically having area majority, but it is a cruel area majority game. So that you have neutral that you can play, as well as your own color. And of course, the different size trees will be worth more influence in a particular area. And the way you play it is with domino type pieces, which are also gorgeous. And you have some that are wild, and that can be changed if you use some powers, some cloud powers. And you're trying to match them up and surround areas within the board that then give you victory points. And even if you're not the one to surround the pieces, you can still get points. It's a very good game. It's a really mean game.
It's a very mean game.
So I mean, I would say it's definitely a gamer game. But playing the neutral pieces, I liked it quite a bit, but I will tell you that it is mean, because when people
She's mean.
Well, I would say that you have to be mean to play this game. How's
Well,
that?
yeah,
How's
but
that?
as we talked about, and we talked about this at length in our audio podcast, which is coming up, is that there's a meanness, but also a degree of luck over which you have very little control, which can lead to situations where, with no ability to control it at all, a place where you thought you were going to win now you're going to lose tremendously because you had no way to build into a spot, and somebody can be very mean.
Well, yeah, because these neutral pieces are used as blockers, because if the first place player and the neutral player tie, then the other player who's there, or players if it's a multiple player, they get the points. So that's painful because you can play those pieces, and you can use your powers of your clouds to remove neutral or other pieces from things that have already scored and just totally mess up a person. But the pieces are clearly amazing, and
They're very
if you
beautiful.
love, it's a very spatial game, and if you like that kind of building around areas and trying to figure out how to do that and use your powers of playing pieces that are together, knowing there's some luck. And
There are
some
other
meanness.
Wolfgang Kramer, Michael Kiesling, or Kramer and Kiesling together games that I would much rather play. But for our final game, best game of the month by far, we were fortunate enough to get a review copy of Maglev Metro! It's so awesome!
We love it.
My
We
God,
love
it's
it.
great. 1 to 4 players, 90 minutes or so, Ted Alspach's new game. And it is totally cool. We talked about this on the audio podcast, but look at these thick pieces.
That's one
these
piece.
Indent into the board. So there's a little indentation. So then it sticks up a little bit. So you got that. And then you've got, every player has their own clear pieces, and notice they can go together because when you put them together they can fit, and then you can see each other, so you can build on top of each other, and it's
Without
okay.
worrying,
You've got your
you can
stuff.
tell if you've built
And
it.
you got little meeples, you got everything.
And the train holds
forgot the train.
the people perfectly. But the game is just so much fun to play. It's hard. You have lots of ways to work toward. You have to deliver people to different places.
Metallic meeples.
Oh yeah, but show the
Well, I'm trying to find it.
show the train.
Show that.
Oh, so it's just perfectly designed, where everything is indented, so you would never bump anything, and it's very complex because you're moving pieces around. Look at
That's metal.
Yeah.
Metal and plastic.
And
the
people
people
stand
fit
inside
right
it.
into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's great.
But when you're playing the game, you have an adjustment that you're often making. So it's really important that it does have so much of this type of quality, so that you're
Yes.
not accidentally bumping stuff, because you are making adjustments to your board at all times, right?
You have different color human meeples, and then the metallic ones are robot meeples. Robots can be moved around your board, and notice that there's different colors,
Right.
and so different places require different colors to fit in. And you're building basically an action tree, so your actions can be stronger or less strong depending upon how many different meeples are there.
Sometimes
It's
you're maybe just
so
wanting
cool.
to put more people or more robots or people out on the board, so you move to that, or maybe sometimes you want to build more track. So yeah, it's a beautiful,
love it.
beautiful game.
So fun, Maglev Metro.
Yeah.
Definitely the highlight
of the
of
month.
January. Yeah. So that'll do it for our rundown of the January games. We hope you enjoyed this. Remember, tune in every week, probably a couple days from now, for the wine, music, and games episodes, which we're doing weekly. And remember, you can sponsor the podcast by going to patreon.com/Garrett'sGames. Hope you guys are having a great week and a great month, and hope your February, short month, goes along. Oh, her birthday on the 11th. All right. Have a great one, guys. Take care. See you later. Bye.
Bye.